Hello everyone, this is Aerithel playing Lady Knight Saga. Last time we did a side quest involving taking Manami to the Isle of Magic to get some spells, and there was also an 8-sheen involved there, but that reminded me there are some of those that can happen without raising Stella's Depravity. So I went and checked on it. There are a few we can get at the inn now that meet the same conditions. Now, as has been mentioned, if you stay at an inn that does not heal you, except of the aroused status. But yeah, when certain conditions are met, we will get scenes overnight. Stella is noticing here there's a door open. She's walking down the hall at night, notices light coming out one of the doors that's open a crack. It's Raji's room. She decides to take a peek. Here's these moaning kind of noises. It's like, what? And yeah, there's Raji and Linda, and things are happening between them. So yeah, apparently vampires they need to recover their energy in any of various ways, and apparently that's how Raji likes to do it. But this is more significant because turns out Linda's not exactly as human as she appears. So I was saying, I've seen something kind of amazing here. But Linda's, beast person, so werewolf sort of thing, not necessarily that exactly, but that type of thing. Well, I did figure if she was working for the Bloody Baroness, she wasn't just an ordinary maid. But in any case, as a result of having seen that scene and realized that, yeah, she's kind of something special, she's learned a new skill, the beast person that's like turning into. So basically turning into beast form. So if we check her skill list here now, she now has this skill. It's like a werewolf looking icon on it. It unleashes the power of the beast hidden within her. And that's a self-boost to all stats. As I recall, that acts as a special status effects. So that will stack with regular buffs. So basically you turn that on, she gets a boost to everything. It's pretty good. I've also temporarily swapped Leafia into the party. Yeah, as you'll notice, it does not recover HP or MP. If we rest again, we should get another scene. So again, it's the middle of the night. So I was wondering what's going on this late at night. She's passing by one of the other rooms. Hears voices. This is Leafia's room. So yeah, Leafia is being visited by some more regular fairies. As you may recall, she's a transformed fairy we found deep in the forest, was looking for some kind of special honey. So this scene is triggered by getting that honey that you trade this mossy rock from the Vance dungeon to the fairy in the mines. And yeah, as her title, character class suggests, she is the daughter of the fairy lord. So they're referring to her as Hime-sama, basically princess. It's like, Hime-sama, are you okay? Yes, supposedly, according to the scene anyway, one of the side effects of staying in human form for a prolonged period of time is magic power accumulates as excess milk, and the fairies are kind of helping her get it out in weirdly extreme ways, but in any case, Stella is again saying, well, I've seen something kind of amazing here. Leafia is the Kiase Synotype. Looking slender in clothing, so basically the gist of that is she's curvier than she looks when she's dressed. In any case, presumably because of finding that one of the 7 honeys, Leafia has gotten a step closer to Fairy Lord, and has learned the secret fairy art. It's like big car wheel, so probably something like Grand Wheel. Yeah, she definitely looks a lot less pronounced in the chest here than she did in that scene. But in any case, the skill, 12 MP, swing your spear around and blast the enemies away. All enemies, this is slashing and bludgeoning damage, which is an interesting combination, especially since spears are normally piercing damage, so that gives her a good variety. It's a fairly powerful multi-target attack, as I recall. And yeah, I think if I check my inventory now, yeah, the honey is no longer here. So they collected it and brought it back to the fairy kingdom or whatever. Yeah. So that was a thing. Okay, we're back in Pioneer Town, and there is something else we can do here. Remember the unique healing miko here? If you heal with her enough times with the 30G option, I think it was 5 in total. Yes, eventually something happens. I believe that's famous high name, literally Knight Miuke. Yes, I suppose you're a famous knight. My name is... not sure how to pronounce that. Anyway. She has a favor she wants to ask. Let's see, the homeland of the Mikos is... An evil magician has appeared, and horrible things are happening to everyone. Would you help me defeat the evil magician? Let's say no for now. It's like, yeah, we're busy. Yeah, I want to save before doing this, because I forget what it involves. And she'll ask you again. Also, it seems you can't get healing here again until you accept, so that's something. Alright, let's head to my homeland of Heian. Yeah, some tense sounding music. I believe this was the same music we had during the jailbreak. Okay, the magician should be holed up underground, doing evil deeds. She has a katana with the power to seal magic, so... Yep. No matter what kind of magician it is, anyway, she's asking for help. Okay, during this event, members other than Stella and... what's her name cannot participate in battle. Party formation has changed, so here she is. She's an Eastern Witch, it says. We've seen her before. She has some exotic looking equipment. So I'm going to take a moment to try to look up her name. Okay, sources are telling me this would most typically be pronounced Naki or Nagi, but apparently in this game specifically it's Nanahime. So let's check her skills. We got a... and take 2. Found out after recording that apparently the video recording just stopped recording video. The audio kept going. Kind of weird. Anyway, her name is Nanahime. This would normally be pronounced Nagi or Naki, but here it's Nanahime. As for her skills, they're pretty similar to Quili, her being a proper cleric as opposed to a alchemist that basically acts like a cleric. You have Mio and Miol, which are water spells, which makes them holy in this game. Small, medium, or heal, medium heal, group heal, poison, paralyze, blind, spells. We have In Up, which is a group spirit buff. We have this like protective, like magic formation kind of thing. So like she's making probably like hand signals or something like that, sort of like you see in Naruto. But in any case, this is a thing that puts up a holy barrier, gives everyone this basically big defense status. As I recall, that lasts one turn, but it's a massive defense boost. And she has this Onibi. It's a fire-based attack that causes confusion. As I recall, it's also physical type damage rather than magic, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, Onibi is Will-o'-the-Wisp. As for equipment, she has this Yoto, which is like a... Yo is the same yo as in yokai, yosei, whatever, so it has some kind of supernatural stuff going on with the sword. It's called Ogre Binder, Onishibari. So this is, I think, slashing and light damage, and it can also inflict sealed status, which it doesn't say there, but it does. You kind of see that in the description. It says something about a evil ogre, curse sealing powers sealed into it. Here we have a fire seal amulet. So this is similar to our advanced fire ward gem, or really the fire wheel pearl. More than that. Anyway, you have your basic physical resistances, like with pretty much anything that doesn't say otherwise. You have 12 defense, you have resist fire, and holy, and light. So, honestly, it's more like an upgraded light ward stone. You get more defense and you get fire resist as a bonus. And it's also kind of similar to the gimmick charm, not as much defense, doesn't get the stun and paralyze immunities, but again, you get fire and holy resist and not just light. In any case, here we are in Heian. This is kind of an odd place. It's apparently based on an early arcade game called Heian Kill Alien, released in the US as Digger. But we have these monsters running around. They're obviously tentacle monsters. They're called Shokshalien, which is a portmanteau of Shokshu, tentacle, and alien, so tentacalians. They're not particularly remarkable. They do have this acid attack that lowers your attack power. But not much damage on them. You can see Nanahime's blade caused sealed status on it. Probably doesn't really have any effect on them, because that just stops magic use. Anyway, there's a bunch of those running around here. They're more obstacles than anything else. You're supposed to just get to these stairs here. I'll fight another one for that bit. But yeah, Heian Kill Alien, or Digger. Actually, let's try out some of her spells. So, the idea with that is you're in what's supposed to be a city, with a layout similar to what we're seeing here, where it's kind of a grid of streets with nondescript buildings in between. And there's an alien invasion going on, and you're playing as kind of Japan's equivalent of medieval law enforcement officer, and you fight off these aliens by digging holes, luring them into the holes, and then filling the holes back up before they can escape. It's kind of an interesting idea. But in any case, we're here. We have arrived at the site of some dubious ritual being carried out. We have a bunch of generic mikos surrounded by demonic-looking creatures. There's a creepy guy in a cloak up here, who is presumably our evil magician. Nanahime tells him that's far enough. You've done enough evil. I'll use the power of this sword to seal your magic. It's like, who are you? Now that I've seen you, now that I've been seen by you, I can't let you leave alive. So we are fighting. We have the Chonjin Saiman, so basically Superman, Super Simon, or Super Saiyan rather. Super Saiyan. Probably supposed to sound like Super Saiyan. I'm not sure if it's a reference to anything else, but anyway, she's going to take this, yelling out her sword's name, and it's sealed with magic. And he just laughs at that. Turns out he has martial arts abilities. So, yeah, saying, don't confuse me with your average, ordinary, weak magic user. He's gone to the trouble of building up his muscle as well as his magic, and won't be beaten that easily. So, we're going to let her heal. And honestly, it doesn't really matter what you do here. So I'll just conserve MP. Because after about 5 rounds or so, the battle just ends on its own. He has something like 15,000 health here. And yeah, she's like, it's too strong. So yeah, scripted battle, you can't win, he laughs. It's like, know your place, foolish knights. We'll start with you. And Nanahime cuts in. Look out, get out of here. And apparently that's a teleportation spell, despite looking like a pillar of fire. And Stella is warped to safety. So, the suspicious magicians, yeah, that's kind of cheating. But what can you do by yourself? And then he says something sleazy. It's like, even if I'm all by myself, I won't give up. And she charges him, but it does not look good for her, and as the saying goes, I've seen enough hentai to know what's going to happen here. Or to know where this is going, that was the saying. I'm not entirely awake at the moment. Anyway, Stella's back in the barracks, but what happened to Nanahime? That's kind of the question, isn't it? Because she's back in Heian, presumably captive, presumably not having a terribly good time, unless she's into that sort of thing, which, don't judge. But yeah, she's not going to be able to get out of that on her own, and we don't really have a way back there, because we got there by talking to her, and she's not here to talk to now, so now what? Well, we met her here in Pioneer in the Healing Dojo, so with no other leads to go on, might as well check here. She's been replaced with a generic healing miko who does the standard stuff. But no, there's now one in the corner who wasn't here before. We have a miko who is from Heian saying, Miss Knight, please go help Nanahime, please. And yeah, we're heading to Heian now. That was simple enough. We're back here, same music. If Nanahime's okay, there's some possibility she'll be captured in that underground place. This time we've got numbers on our side, so let's overwhelm them. So once again, we have these things running around. Apparently a lingering sound effect from something. Yeah, I would have expected these to be weak against light or holy, but Raji's saber doesn't seem to be doing extra damage. Anyway, we're back here. There's the creepy magician guy. There's Nanahime surrounded by demons, and creepy magician saying, "What, you're back again? If you wanted to help your companion, you're too late. Behold, the moment of the birth of my familiar." That's lovely. But yeah. And with everyone watching, she gives birth to one of those things. Stella's not exactly amused. In fact, she's rather disgusted. It's like, well, that's horrible. I'll help you. And Creepy Magician is saying, this time I'll put a stop to you for real. And will he, though? Because even with 2 of these as backups, we've got a full party. He really wasn't that impressive. If he'd had a reasonable amount of health and the battle wasn't cut short, we would have won the first time. But yeah, his just born... not exactly sure what that word is, but yeah, he's got these evil minions that were just born. The subjugation of Heian or the East is nigh. Wahahaha. Whatever. We'll hit him with the double sword. We'll hit him with, I guess I don't have an attack buff. With that, we'll have her use Wear Form, throw in some bombardment, and since they didn't seem to be weak against Holy, maybe they're not resistant to evil either, so we'll try clawing them. Right, something I didn't mention about Linda's Beast Form skill. That's one of the skills that was significantly changed between version 1.00, which is what I'm playing, and version 1.10, which is the most recent version. They're not that impressive. They do have that attack down effect, which you'll notice normal buffs and debuffs will stack with lycanthropy and not override it. Yeah, this dispels debuffs. Anyway, in this version of the game, her lycanthropy skill costs 10 MP, gives her bonus to all stats, I think extra to attack and speed as opposed to other stuff. Yeah, and see, he's not that tough, he's dead already. But it has a chance of wearing off every round. Small chance, but still a chance. Yeah, keeping her angry myself, but we got a golden knuckle, which sounds like a fist-type weapon, and heretical amulet. Mitigate the buff on leap slash. That's that multi-target thing Stella learned earlier. Stella's going, "Are you okay?" She doesn't sound entirely okay, so let's get back to Pioneer Town. Bring her to the healing Mikos, maybe they'll be able to do something. There, she's all better. And thank you so much for helping them. And as thanks, would you allow me to assist you on your journey? I think that would be helpful. Great help to have Eastern Miko with us. They're saying the pleasantries, and Nanahime has formally joined the party. We'll leave her out for now. But right. As I was saying before, interrupting myself again, 10 MP, bonus to all stats, small chance of wearing off with each turn of combat. In the latest version of the game, I'm not exactly sure which version they changed it in because it's not noted in the version history, but it gives a larger bonus to attack than it already did, and it does not wear off on its own, so you may be wondering what's the catch? Well, the catch is it costs 30 instead of 10, and she doesn't have a huge amount of MP to begin with, so that cuts into what she can spend on other skills, but better attack boost, even than it has here, which is pretty good to begin with. And you don't have to worry about it wearing off, so it's basically you turn it on, she's buffed for the rest of combat. The only thing you really have to worry about is if she gets confused, you could have a bad time. And speaking of how a confused wear maid is one of the last things you want, recall that Linda's initial equipment was this white cat ears, which protects against confusion, and also by its nature kind of hints at her nature. But while we're on the topic of equipment, I realized I forgot to go through the rest of Nanahime's starting equipment, and also the new stuff we got from that battle, so her starting inner here, 1 defense, it's unique to her, it's an Eastern Hadagi, which is basically just an undergarment. Using that particular term seems to imply it's sort of a kimono-like sort of thing, but regardless, nothing remarkable here. And while her sword inflicts stealing, the accessory she starts with prevents seal. It's the same thing you can buy in Yukana, so nothing special there either. So she starts with this fire seal amulet. We got from the boss this heretical amulet. You can tell they're kind of the same sort of thing, It's like a paper or something similar with writing on it, which is pretty common in Japanese, probably Chinese too. Um, the spiritualism, whatever. In any case, this is also similar to an upgraded version of the Light Wardstone, which is 2 defense, resist holy, and light. This is 20 defense, resist holy, and light, but minus 10 to spirit, so not the best thing for mages, not the best thing if you're up against something that's using a lot of magic, because spirit is also your magic resist. But if you're something that's mostly physical, and you don't care too much about your spirit, it's actually pretty good. The other thing that dropped, I brought Aoi into the party to show this, is the Golden Knuckle. Now, she starts with the Bandage, 5 attack. We have Cestus, 12 attack. A Battle Gauntlet, 15 attack. The Golden Knuckle is only 2 attack, but it's also 2 to everything else. So, not much offense, not that great as a weapon, but it does at least give you some variety. Description also says it's a shiny gold thing, might sell for a lot. So yeah, we can check on that too. If we come over to a random vendor. Now for one thing, we have this gold that some of the monsters dropped in the volcano-ish dungeon. That sells for a healthy 500. But the Golden Knuckle, sells for 2,000. I believe we will have the ability to craft these later on. So again, that's a good source of money if you can get the stuff for them and have the ability to craft them. I just forget when and how we unlock more weapon crafting. In any case, we just have a few loose ends to tie up for this month, including that. And then the plan after that is I think we'll go back in, beat the monster that's blocking the way to the dragon, save, and then fight the dragon to see how that goes. And afterwards load, come back to town, tell Zephy, and have her go fight the dragon so she'll join the party later, because that's what I want to have happen. But I also kind of want to show the dragon, so we'll do both. Until then, this has been Arafallen playing Lady Knight Saga. And hopefully next time we won't have issues with the recordings.